Welcome to No Room for Phonies, episode 81. It's just some follow-up thoughts to our Transform Your Life in 2023 with Shauna Gupta.
All right.
And the big quote from today is from the book Quit, which I think you bought that book.
Yeah,
it's
for
called
Christmas for you.
Yeah, The Power of Walking Away by Annie Duke. And so this quote says, "What does someone do when they are forced to quit the goal they've been working toward their entire life? You reinvent yourself and start looking for something new to aspire to. Whenever you are pursuing a goal, there are always opportunities that you are neglecting. You simply don't see them because you are not looking for them. We should always be curious and exploring because plan B may turn out to be better than what you are already pursuing. As we change and the world changes, our goals should change."
That's kind of like opportunity lost. Like, don't get hung up on how long you've spent on something.
Right. And don't be so sad if something ends.
Right.
Because you start exploring the opportunities that you weren't even looking for because you were so wrapped up in what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was interesting to think about. So one of the top things that I took away from Shauna's, she's a dream builder and mindset coach, but one of the top things that I think she talked about was what it means to be truly aligned with who you are.
Mm-hmm.
To be aligned with who you truly are, let's say it that way.
Right.
Like, I think she talked about that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of, was sort of the springboard to everything else she sort of talked about.
Right.
Aligning your vision, aligning,
Mm-hmm.
your thoughts, aligning everything in your life to who you truly are and who you in your heart want to be and the things that you want to do, that the kind of life that you would love to live.
Right.
Was, I think, how she worded
Mm-hmm.
it. Right? Am I right about
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. And then you there were like three sources for thought.
Right.
Right.
So the external world, which is always throwing stuff at us, your internal beliefs from, the past programming, the things from your childhood, all those inner core things.
Mm-hmm.
And then what she was trying to focus people on from your vision. And in other words, what would you love? And her big statement was that we are all love, and what would be love to create what would we love to create in our lives?
Yeah.
So I felt that was
Mm-hmm.
really what she was talking to us about.
And it feels a bit future oriented, but I think it was much more about the present.
And I think one of the things that she was saying was, don't get caught up in your internal beliefs and the external world.
Mm-hmm.
Just identify with what you would love to do, to be, to experience in your life, and then create a vision that matches that. So, and she also talked a lot about emotions and how emotions almost occur as vibrations, and that they can be a vibrational match to who you are. And so if you're in that love, creativity, flow state, then people start to notice that you are, and I'm not talking about running around happy-go-lucky, but that you're...
Well, I think despite Anglo-Saxon, Western culture, whatever, putting down emotions and kind of highlighting rational thought and whatever, and making emotions be secondary in a lot of our culture and a lot of what we value as a group, right? It's
right.
Like emotions are like poo-pooed more than
yes,
often,
for sure.
Right? I just think that it doesn't matter if, as a culture, we think of them as insignificant or irrelevant. We are giving off those vibrations.
Well, and she's...
Because like when, there's those negative people, they're giving off those negative
Well, and
vibrations.
she referred to that. I think when she talks about building a relationship with your vision,
Mm-hmm.
like you're giving off an energy depending on what you're feeling and what your vision for your life is. And, and then that impacts how you think. So if your vision is a vision of love and, being able to accomplish things, that's where your emotional
It-
state
yeah.
is going to, like, it's not that it doesn't fluctuate. Something bad happens and you feel sad, but you've got sort of that level spot where
Yep.
you can return to, because that's where your vision of love, of what you would really love and who you would really love to be. So, and I think that is what she was talking about when she was talking about the core of your essence and where your energy flows.
Yeah.
Right? It's like my energy flows to that vision of who I actually want to be, who I would love to be. And so then all my emotional energy kind of settles on that level playing field instead of being like this all the time. Because we all know people who are like that, right? Who kind of,
It's
something.
Well, there's the negative, constant negative, like the
Right.
the resting face.
Yeah.
And then there's the up and down person.
Well, and then
which
there's
are
the
so
person that's
unpredictable.
always thinking of things from the negative aspect,
Yeah.
right? And I was reading this other book, The Question Behind the Question, and it says that when you're asking a question, you should never use like,
The word not.
no, you should never use the words. You should always use, what can I do to make the situation better? How can I contribute, rather than why is this happening and who is responsible? You're supposed to be taking, and that I think is, somewhat what she's talking about here. We have to take responsibility, personal accountability for our own lives and our own vision and how we feel and how much we fluctuate. And if we have sort of a stability structure in our lives that we can always kind of come back to.
Right.
And that's what I think what she's talking about when she talks about intentional thinking, like being in a state of constantly creating the life that you love, because it's not like, okay, I'm going to go out tomorrow and create the life I love.
No.
It's more of a state of being and constantly working toward that state of being. At least that's how
Right.
I understand it.
The word flow reminds me of our wedding vows, where we talked about like filling each other's cup
Yes.
and then overflowing to
Right.
the people around
To the
us.
people around you. And I think that's exactly, because when you are becoming a vibrational, like an emotional match to your vision, then everything starts elevating, and then you're able to see the light in others and practice forgiveness and do all those things that actually make you a person of love to other people who are around you, right? Which is and when you talk about, there's a little book for kids called Fill Your Bucket, right?
Yeah.
And so if you fill someone else's bucket, but if your bucket's empty, it's pretty hard to fill someone else's bucket.
Yeah.
So that's
you have
why,
nothing to draw from.
yeah. So anyway, I thought that was, she really talked about the importance of recognizing that we are spiritual beings and connecting with others and sharing their energy. And I think we've all come in contact with people who you don't really want to share their energy.
Yeah.
Right? But the idea that my vision is a vision for that I love, and therefore the way I come across to other people is that I love them despite whatever, because my vision is that, right? So it's,
well, and it also is appealing. So sometimes it's like attractive and there might be people with empty buckets who are attracted to that.
Yes, I think people do become, well, you think about Shauna herself at work.
Yep,
like that's
absolutely.
where you know her best, right?
Yeah.
Do people see her as a positive, loving?
Absolutely. Students are drawn to her.
And she's inventive. She tries new things. She puts herself out there.
Yep.
She takes risks. So people are drawn to that, right? And if you're thinking of someone of, like, because I know you're like basically her boss now, right?
In an unusual way, yes.
In an unusual way, but yes. But if you're thinking, oh, I need to talk to somebody who's really going to give me an honest voice about something, would you not go to her?
Absolutely.
Because
Yep.
of the way her vision comes across, right?
Mhm.
And the fact that she is also aware of other people's vibrations, right? They're kind of, because your emotions are an internal guidance system, right? And they contract and expand. Like some things are contractive.
Mhm.
And like when you get beside a person who has contractive emotions, you don't have any trouble figuring that out,
No.
do you?
Not at all.
Like,
Well, and I mean, this was readings that we did a long time ago, but like I tend to, if I'm in a room full of people that are like in the negative, I get drained by
Mhm.
that negativity. I pick it up very
but
quickly.
expansive emotions draw people in.
Yeah. Mhm.
And sometimes they can't help themselves, right?
Yep, exactly.
And so vision, purpose, and joy are all on the same frequency. I like the way she described vision, purpose, and vision and purpose. So
Mhm.
she said that purpose is the why are you here,
Right.
and vision is what does your life look like, and what does it feel like. So
Mhm.
that's vision, and then there's coherence between purpose and vision. So vision makes you the director of your own story, and goals are the building blocks that create the vision that are in line with the purpose. I really liked that explanation. So, yeah, I mean, I would really encourage you to kind of go back and listen to that part because, there's all kinds of talk about finding your purpose. But sometimes we just become a people of goals, which are just can become lists of things to do.
Yes.
Which,
Like a litany.
yeah. So, and then she talked about what infuses your conscious mind, because whatever you let infuse, like whatever is in there, becomes habits and then create loops. And if you have this really strong vision, it can
Mhm.
prevent you from filling your conscious and your unconscious minds with things that you really don't want or love or in your eyes. So you
Right.
become way more self-aware is part of self-aware and self-reflective, right?
Yep.
Like, did you get the idea that there were times when she was just pausing and breathing and making sure that she was aligned with what her vision is?
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah, there was like
even when we
an intentionality.
yes,
Yeah.
complete intentionality. So the conscious mind has your imagination, your will,
Mm-hmm.
your perception, your reason, memory, and intuition.
Yeah. She explained those really clearly.
Yeah,
in
she
the
did
previous
in
episode.
the
Yeah.
thing. I liked the thing about will because it's the ability to hold on the screen of your mind what you would love to do to the exclusion of all else.
Mhm.
So when you talk about willpower,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Like if you really have a vision for your life, like I'm going to compare it to you're going on a diet, right? And
Mhm.
people always say, well, a diet is all about willpower.
Mm-hmm.
But if the vision for the life you love includes like a
Being
healthy
healthy.
lifestyle,
Yeah.
then
Mhm.
you're holding that vision on your screen, and then it's not so hard to refuse the
Mm-hmm.
things that or to get up and go for a walk, or to do some of the things that are going to make you healthy.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because when we teach grammar to second language learners, we compare the difference between will and am going to. So, I'm going to lose weight versus I will lose weight. The I'm going to lose weight sounds like a plan. So yeah, I can make a schedule and how many
Yeah.
calories, but I will lose weight has this promise to yourself.
Right. It's a commitment to your vision.
It's more visionary
Yes.
than it is just a list.
Like, and that's what she's saying by all this. Like, you're
Yeah.
committing yourself to your vision and what you love and your highest vibration. Like,
Mhm.
what is not constrictive but expansive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And other things just won't be attracted to you and won't interest you because you're investing all your energy in that
In the
vision
other.
that exists for you, which is very cool to me. I just
Mhm.
think that whole idea, and I don't think it ever means that there aren't sad days or bad times or things that happen to you that challenge you. But when you're really committed to that vision, then you rise above it,
Yeah.
is what I understood from what she said. Like,
Mhm.
it's not that all the other emotions don't exist, but your baseline is your vision.
Right.
Right.
And it's
So,
interesting. I mean, baseline makes you think of low, but the baseline doesn't have to be low.
no,
It can
it's
be
what
a
you
high
rise
baseline.
to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the zone, right? It's kind
Mhm.
of where you want to be. So, and then she talked about all the different types of vision. Like, your vision can include health and wellness, love and relationships, career and vocation and creative expression, or how you give your gifts to the world, or and time, money, and freedom. So
Mhm.
when you're creating a vision, you think about all
these
these. And
categories.
like, I mean, if you choose to like contact Shauna, which we've included her website lots of times, and go through something personal, like it's a whole binder that,
Mhm.
she helps you go through, and you can really like focus in and figure a lot of
A
stuff
lot
out.
of stuff out.
So, I mean, it's a whole process that you go through till you get to this. And anybody who thinks, oh, well, I'll just set a vision and then I'll go, and it's not as easy as
No,
that.
I don't-
I've been
so.
working at this kind of thing, I'm going to say, really focused on it probably for the last 10 years,
Mhm.
and I'm still not there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right.
Well, it is a journey. I think it's a constant effort and journey.
And that's what she says. It's an ever expanding vision
Mhm.
that's always seeking. And when I hear the word seeking, do you not think of the word curiosity,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Circles
Which is a
back
big
to that.
thing now.
Well, it's in a lot of research now around personal growth and health, like mental health.
Right.
Mhm.
And the journey of self-love and self-acceptance.
Mhm.
And even accepting when you falter and you don't, or you're having a low day. But the purpose of that vision is to always pull you back up into that expansive, energized state.
Yeah.
Isn't that basically what we...
That's what I gathered from it. Yes.
Yes. So, I mean, my last part of what she was talking about kind of, got to the bottom of what does freedom really mean? Like, what do we really have the opportunity to choose in our
Mhm.
lives? And you can actually choose to be in bondage, or you can choose to create the world you love by controlling your conscious thoughts and creating a vision.
Yep.
So, and she was like not impatient with people who chose bondage.
No. It's
Like,
just
that is a choice that you
respecting
can make, and I respect that that's
Yeah.
what the choice that you've
I
made.
mean, I don't think she really mentioned it, but like that can be something around healthy boundaries that you
Yes.
you limit your exposure to that
Yes,
type of person.
absolutely.
And the thing is, though, if you're married to or related to that type of person, it's a lot harder.
Right. Well, and I also think
I mean,
that
I'm not
would...
talking about you and I.
No, but I also think that would be a moment when you would say, well, maybe we need to go and explore. Like, we always knew kind of right from the start what our vision
Challenges
for
would
our
be-
life
yes.
was, and
And
how
what our
we wanted
challenges would
things
be,
to
too.
do, and what our challenges were. Like, we talked about that a lot prior to getting married.
In our
So
11 months of dating.
yeah, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
because we were older, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, but that really hit me, like, because I personally, and I know you've talked about this at work, like in leadership discussions and things, that leaders definitely can be impatient
Mm-hmm.
with the people around them. But I really felt like with what she said, people do have the freedom to choose not to, especially in the environments that you and I always worked in, because they have, it's a unionized environment. So
Mhm.
there's lots of ways that they can just say, no,
There's a lot of protection for those who are in bondage.
yeah, there is
Sorry
a lot
to
of
put it
there
that
is a
way.
lot of protection for those who are in bondage. Like,
Yeah,
I get it. And I mean, I was a union president when I was a young teacher,
Mhm.
and we fought for a lot of stuff that still exists today.
Against
like,
the misogynist males.
yes. And we were a women's
Union.
union
Yeah.
then.
Mhm.
And we fought for
Equal
pay,
maternity leave.
leaves, like all the kinds of things that exist today, because
that
people
today's teachers
took a
benefit from.
stand.
Yeah. Mhm.
But some of the things we fight for now, I just kind of shake my head, because I mean, I felt we were doing like really important work
Yeah.
that was actually beneficial to, like, if women make the same as men, that helps children.
Absolutely.
If women get a proper maternity leave or paternity leaves exist, that helps children. Like, we were really focused on making the world a better place for children. And I think, sometimes that's the choice, is not to be client focused. And I think the other thing about the way she worded it is, she doesn't really have time in her vision life to worry about all these people who aren't on board.
Yeah.
She's got her love and her life to live, and she, is truly trying to, be a good influence because of her positive vibrations
and in the circle that she.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what you and I have worked on.
The difference is she's not going to get in a fight with anybody. Like, if that's how you feel,
right.
Okay, that's how you feel. And I mean, we all know that you're not going to fight somebody into a different way of thinking. You're never going to do that. I mean, we've learned that, with different friends and the way they've looked at life. And you're not going to fight somebody because the people that are in our circle are, well-read, respected, smart people. Like, you're not going to fight them into a different way of thinking.
Yeah, they've arrived at their conclusions and they have their inner core beliefs and all the rest of it too.
So you just have to allow people to work their way through it and get where they're going to get. But that doesn't change who you are. And right. I think that's another issue in the world, right? Because we're highly influenced by what other people think. And would you say that Shauna is a person that's highly influenced by what other people think of her at work? Like, does that stop her from being visionary and innovative and any of those things? No. And I think that's where a big problem arises, because we're like, we've talked about this, the rise of mediocrity, right? Where now we're bending to what these people who have chosen bondage are doing. Whereas in her visionary world, that would never happen. She has the freedom to do as she feels fit. And other people
I'll ask her, but I don't know if she even expects people to get on the bandwagon and follow along. Like, it's great if they do, but if they don't, that's fine.
No, and I think she's promoting this because she feels it's a good thing for people. Like, this is a way, like, this is part of her influence in the world, and she's living it out so that, people will see her and say, whoa, what do you got that I don't got?
Yep, exactly.
So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts. I don't know if you had anything.
I added where you in there where I thought.
So we've really enjoyed having Shauna with us for our first guest of 2023 and our first official guest of the year of guests.
Yep.
And so next podcast is February 5th, will be published. This one will come out January 30th.
Yep.
Which is like now. We tape it a couple of days ahead, but this will come out. And then the next podcast is very exciting too, because we actually did it in-house at the Downtown Bike Hounds in Hamilton, and we talked a lot about biking and the world of biking and running a bike. No, I won't do anything else. And if you are at all looking for a bike, they are on John Street in Hamilton. Honestly, don't go to Walmart. I'm just saying, don't go to Walmart or the New Zellers or anywhere else. Go talk to them, because for the same price, literally, as a Walmart bike, you can get a high quality, beautiful bike.
And if you don't live near Southern Ontario, listen to the podcast on the 15th. And then when you find out about brand names and things like that, then just call your local bike store. And because the local bike store is a big deal. And so we're going to talk to the manager of that bike store. Yeah. And he was amazing. And so join us on February 15th for that. But thank you for listening to our little follow-up of the best ideas, or the ideas that hit us, I guess, that came out of the podcast. That resonated, that vibrated with us, that came out of the Transform Your Life in 2023 with Shauna.
Her website has been listed quite a few times in both in the show notes and on social media, so don't hesitate to contact her if you're interested in pursuing the Dream Builder and mindset coaching that she offers. And thanks again for joining us on No Room for Phonies, episode 81.
Good night.